In this video, I'm going to show you how to tune your violin. First, let me start with some basics. In order to tune your violin, you first need to know the names of your strings. The lowest string is a G, second is D, third is A, and fourth is E. A good way that I teach my students to remember the order of the strings is good dogs always eat. But the important thing to know is that we do not tune the strings in the same order as G, D, A, E. First, we start with A, then we tune D, then we go to G, and we finish off with E. There are two main ways to change the pitch of your strings. The first one is using the tuning pegs. You should definitely know that this tuning peg goes to the G string, this one goes to the D, this one goes to the A, and this one goes to the E. The other way that you can tune your violin is using the fine tuners, which are these right down here. My violin only has one fine tuner, but some violins have all four of them. You want to use the tuning pegs for bigger adjustments and fine tuners for smaller adjustments. Turning the fine tuner or the tuning peg to the right will make it higher, and turning it to the left will make it lower. So the three main ways that you can tune your violin is 1. Using a tuner of some sort, 2. Tuning it to another instrument like a piano, and 3. Tuning the A string and tuning the rest of the strings to that A string. Let's start with the first method of using a tuner. This is the tuner that I use. It's actually a tuner and a metronome in one device, so I really like it. You can also just download a tuner app for free on your phone. I'm just going to show you how I use this. First, we want to start with the A string. So you see how the dial was a little bit more to the right of the A, and it was in that red area. So if it's to the right, that usually means the string is too high. So when that happens, you want to lower your A string by either using the fine tuner and turning it to the left. If you need to make a really big adjustment, you take the A tuning peg and you turn that towards you or to the left. So the key with the tuning pegs is you want to be really gentle when you turn them. Do not jerk them, because there's a chance that it might be too much force and the strings might snap. Basically, I like to hook my first finger around the scroll and use the other finger to turn the peg. And it generally helps if you can tune from lower than the note. So you kind of loosen it a little bit and then you tune it up until it gets to the green area on your tuner. It may take several times for it to get exactly in the right spot, especially if you're using the tuning pegs. If you can get it close enough to the green area with the peg, then if you have fine tuners for all the strings, you can take the fine tuner and do just a little adjustment to make it perfectly in tune. But since I don't have fine tuners for all my strings, I just use the tuning pegs to tune the A, D, and G string. Let me show you how I do my E string by using the fine tuner. So on the tuner it says that it's a little bit too low, so I'm going to turn my fine tuner slightly to the right to make it higher. It's also a very common thing for the pegs to get stuck. That usually happens due to changes in climate or weather. The temperature makes the wood expand and contract, and sometimes pegs can get stuck or they get too loose and they won't stay. One way to fix that problem is taking out the peg and either putting some chalk on it or buying this thing called peg compound. If you apply a little bit of it onto the pegs, that usually helps it stay in place and be able to still adjust. Let's move on to the second method, using a piano to tune your instrument. So I'll show you where A is on the piano. It is 6 white keys above middle C. So middle C is pretty much in the middle of the piano and it's next to these 2 black keys. So basically you're going to play A and then you're going to play your A string and try to get it to match. So my A string is way too high compared to the A on the keyboard, so I'll keep playing it until it matches. And you do that with the rest of the strings. There's A, then you can go to D, and then G, and then all the way up here is E. The third way that you can tune your violin is by tuning the A string first, either using your tuner or another instrument, and then tuning the rest of the strings to that A string. So since my A string is already in tune from the last method, I'm going to tune the D string to the A string by playing them at the same time and really listening to the interval between them and making sure that it's a perfect fifth. By that I mean that there are 5 notes in between those strings. So if you count up from D to A, D, E, F, G, A, there are 5 notes in between them. So you want to make sure that it sounds like a perfect fifth and the frequencies are totally in sync. I'm going to make my D string out of tune so you can hear it. The D is too low and I'm going to make it higher until it matches totally. It just blends really well. There isn't any weird wobble between the 2 notes. So when that happens, they're in tune. Now you move on to the G and the D string. Once you get them to match, then you move on to the A and E. You have to kind of train your ear to hear the clashing of the frequencies before you can use that method, but you should definitely use your tuner or another instrument to get used to tuning first, and then you can challenge yourself by playing both strings at the same time and tuning one string to the other. So that's pretty much all I have. I really hope that these tips were helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments and let me know if there are any other tutorials that you'd like me to do. I really appreciate any feedback that you guys have. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.